Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one. Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. On bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three. Lamas covered. Three-handle family gradunzel.
Mamma mia.
And now, Unchained.media presents the B+ Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
Number 4, armbar.
I will never retire.
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to the B+ Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Friday. You know what that means. It's Aussie Grapps Day. It's our favorite day of the week here at the B+ Podcast. Usually, it's the day we sit down to talk about everything that is happening in Australian professional wrestling, and we take a look at all the Australian professional wrestling news. I also like to sit down and speak to an Aussie grappler or grappler-adjacent person. This week, I spoke with Royce Chambers, the Airbender, right after an amazing weekend of wrestling for him. He was here in Adelaide for Iron Fist Pro Wrestling on Friday night. He was in Melbourne for PCW, his home promotion, his hometown, for PCW Grand Slam, the biggest show they've ever done. 2,093 people. Holy shit. What an amazing attendance that was. So I sat down to talk with Royce Chambers, someone who he really impressed me with his ring work. I'm a big fan, and I think that big things are on the horizon for him, so keep an eye out for the Airbender Royce Chambers. But before we get to that interview, of course, we need to take a look at what happened this week in Aussie Grapps news. Now, normally I start off with the news of Aussies overseas, but I'm not going to do that this week. I'm going to start with PCW Grand Slam and Melbourne City Wrestling Clash of the Titans. Both of these shows took place on the same night in Melbourne on Saturday night last week. Both of them were huge events that had been built to for quite a while. PCW sold over 2,000 tickets to their show. The Thornbury Theatre for MCW was completely sold out with 700 plus people. We're looking at 2,800 people watching local graps in Melbourne. Not a single international name on the card. I mean, DCT was on the Melbourne card, but of course, DCT's a Melbourne guy now. He lives there. He's come to Australia to be a part of the Australian wrestling scene, so he doesn't count. It's no internationals, it was just an Australian wrestling weekend with 2,800 people in one town watching all that wrestling. Fantastic, fantastic work. Hats off to PCW for pulling off the biggest show they've ever done, for pulling off one of the biggest shows in modern Australian wrestling history. Very proud of everything that's going on there. PCW look like they're growing from strength to strength. Of course, I've talked about it already. I'm going to talk to Royce Chambers soon. You're going to hear my interview with Royce Chambers that I recorded, and he's a PCW guy. The Phillip brothers started in PCW. PCW is sort of, it flies under the radar for a lot of us. We don't talk about it a lot, and we probably should. They've been testing live streaming, I know that, so hopefully we're going to get a live streaming network running soon. We're going to get some video on demand, and we'll get to watch this show and get to watch these shows regularly, because I'm really looking forward to it. The gifs that I've seen, the bits that I've seen from the show look fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to catching this entire show and live tweeting it, even if people don't like live tweet threads of results. I enjoy doing it, and Twitter is a spoiler zone. It's what it's for. I would never do it on Facebook, but Twitter, that's what that shit's for. So anyway, at Melbourne City Wrestling for Clash of the Titans, it's very important to point out that it was a night of new champions. Nick Berry, Mitch Waterman, the Brat Pack have become 3-time tag team champions, tying the Loose and Reckless for most amount of reigns. Awesome incredible TLC match. MCW Clash of the Titans has already come out on Vimeo on demand, so it came out in like 4 days. You can watch this show now. Go to the Vimeo. I will put a link in the show notes. Definitely get around that. It's amazing show top to bottom. I don't think there was a bad match. I heard reports from people that were there live where they were like, oh, it wasn't the best MCW show. And I'm like, watching it back on Vimeo, man, I was like, I was thoroughly invested in everything that was happening. So it was really, really good. And the ladder match crowning the new tag team champions. It didn't end there, though. Of course, Gino Gambino's gigantic entrance with the "Fuck you, Gino." I can't sing, but they were singing "Fuck you, Gino" to the music that he was coming out to. That Seb Walker put a crown on his head. Seb Costello got involved, neutralizing Seb Walker. But ultimately, Slex would walk out as the Inter-Commonwealth and MCW World Champion. That is how you pay off a story. People were pissed off that Robbie didn't win. I was at the show. I was drunk and pissed off that Robbie didn't win that night. Jonah Rock didn't win the next time. And, that's how you build a story, man. People were mad, and the hero overcame, and the hero won. Like, Gino tried all the same tricks. He tried pulling the ring apart. Sebastian got involved, and then, he walked into that pile driver from Gino, and it looked like it was over. It was like, we've seen this before, but he kicked out. He got up. He kept going. He kept fighting, and Slex became the dual champion, the unified Inter-Commonwealth and Melbourne City Wrestling World Champion. We don't know yet if the titles are going to be unified, if they're going to be defended separately. It's an interesting situation for sure, but it was a huge payoff to a story. These guys have been built in parallel for a long time and kept away from each other, and then when they finally had this match, one and done, Slex gets the big win. Very much looking forward to seeing where things go from here as we move into the era of Slex. Let's take a look at the international news. I like to look at Aussies overseas and what have you now. There's been a lot of announcements this week. Slade Mercer, our very own Slady 3 belts. Mercy 3 belts? The Mercenary. Slade Mercer. The AWR champion. The Warzone champion. The Underworld champion. He's headed to All Japan Pro Wrestling for Carnival Series. Something about a big tree, the tweet. I'm not sure what the tweet was saying. Something about a big tree. I'm not down with the lingo. I'm not, so I do apologize, but what I do know is he's heading over for a series of events, during the All Japan Pro Wrestling Carnival Series. Best of luck to Slade Mercer. Bring home the crown, the belt, the cup, whatever the prize is for this. I do not know enough about All Japan Pro Wrestling. I readily admit that. Plus, it is 1:40 a.m. as I record this. We'll get to why I'm doing this so late shortly, but yeah. Slade Mercer, best of luck. Awesome to see you getting another stint in Japan. Have the best time over there, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, and I will have to sign up to ajpw.tv again, which I have had before, and I'll have to get it again because I want to see this. I want to see Slade Mercer's little trip over to Japan. I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of trips to Japan to look forward to, Charli Evans, who is one of ours. It's easy to forget that Charli Evans is one of ours because she's over in the UK doing good things over there. And she is heading over to Indygurlz in June. So she's heading over to Japan as well to wrestle for Indygurlz. Indygurlz, of course, is Meiko Satomura's group over there. So big things for Charli. If she's going over there to train and wrestle and all that sort of stuff, it's going to be great for her career, great for her progression. And I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Speaking of women going places they aren't normally or haven't been before, Nicole Savoy is coming to Perth for Global Conflict. New Horizons Pro Wrestling and Indygurlz announced that the current Shimmer champion, former Heart of Shimmer champion, she's coming to Perth. She's coming to Perth for the Global Conflict tour. A former Mae Young Classic competitor, if I'm not mistaken, is Nicole Savoy. So big news there. I'm still hoping to get over to Perth for this weekend. It takes place May 24th and 25th. I have a few hurdles. I have a surgery that I'm not sure when it's scheduled for, so I'm probably going to have to buy the tickets last minute to head over there, but as well, it's also my partner's birthday weekend, so I kind of have some negotiating to do there to make sure that I can get over, but I'm really, really stoked for this Global Conflict tour. Some of the names that they've announced so far, I definitely want to head over for it if I can. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get to go to the girl show because of a derby camp. I didn't get to go to the Wrestling Go show for the same reason, so I really want to get over for this show. And I'm going to do everything that I can to be there. Somewhere else I would have loved to be, but I won't be. is WrestleMania weekend over in the States, of course, in New York City. A lot of our talent are heading over there for WrestleMania and the following weeks or months. You know, we've got Mick Moretti heading over, Jack Bonza's heading over, Caveman Uggs heading over, Belle Pierce is heading over, Shazza McKenzie, Unsocial Jordan, lots of the PWA people are heading over. We've got Adam Brooks heading over. So everyone's going to America for WrestleMania and the following weeks or months. So this year is really the year of, you know, hashtag Now We Conquer. And there is a PWA featuring as part of an independent wrestling TV production there. And they have announced the PWA showcase match that's taking place on this event. The team of Mick Moretti, Jack Bonza, and Unsocial Jordan will be taking on Belle Pierce, Robbie Eagles, and Caveman Ugg. So that's it. That's for IWTV.live. We'll be able to stream that one. I believe it might be playing on Fight as well. It's called Family Reunion. It's taking place in Jersey City. That's on the Thursday before WrestleMania. So it'll be the Friday for us here because it's the Thursday. Is it a nighttime show? No, it's during the day. It's during the day. It's 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings. It's 12 p.m. over there when the show takes place. So it'll happen really early Friday morning here. We're talking, off the top of my head, I'm thinking about 3 a.m. Friday morning here. We'll be able to live stream that show, and it'll go up on demand as well after that. So Belle Pierce, Robbie Eagles, Caveman Ugg taking on Mick Moretti, Jack Bonza, and Unsocial Jordan for that one on IWTV.live. Hopefully I'll get to watch it and tweet that with you guys and live stream it, and hopefully we can get a group together and watch it or something. It'll be amazing if we're all watching it at the same time, because support the PWA family, support Aussie Grapps, watch global, support local. We'll be doing both of those at once, supporting our local guys while watching global, which I did last weekend when I watched Ricky South. I woke up at 5 in the morning, not as early as we're going to have to for this PWA showcase match at Family Reunion, but I did wake up at 5:30 in the morning to watch Ricky South take part in the Young Lions Cup. He did a phenomenal job. It wasn't just Ricky South. Sorry, I almost forgot. Jay Sorbet as well. Jay Sorbet did unfortunately get eliminated in the first round, but I feel like he made a good impression. You know, it's the Sorbet. I really enjoy his whole shtick, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him, and of course watching more Wrestling Go, as Wrestling Go is becoming more accessible, which is kind of his home. That's fantastic. But Ricky South he really impressed. Ricky South did. He made it through to the semifinals and then unfortunately was eliminated, but not before getting a "Please Come Back" chant. So the Chikara hometown crowd, big fans of Ricky South, just like we are. So congratulations, Ricky, on a successful trip over, a successful debut for Chikara. And I hope you do come back, man. I hope that the "Please Come Back" worked, and I hope the Quack calls you back and brings you back for another round, because I think you did an amazing job. And you also fit in very well over there in Chikara, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of our guys in Chikara. Obviously, there's more of that happening over WrestleMania weekend, but we've already talked about that stuff on previous episodes when it was announced. So, let's stick with the PWA theme. Lots of PWA this week. Last night, Thursday night, there was a Twitch stream. Now, normally I wouldn't be able to talk about this, but because I am so behind and recording this episode so freaking late, I actually got the chance to watch the PWA Twitch stream and keep you guys updated on the very latest, the absolute cutting edge of the news for PWA. So Lucci and Fudge had their live debate. It was amazing. I'm pretty sure the video will be archived on Twitch, so go and watch it if you didn't get a chance to. They really tore into each other. Lucci has some anger issues. We know that. He's working through anger management on Wrestling Go. My question about his anger issues actually got read out, and he dodged it. He said, "Who says I have anger issues? This is you, Fudge. You're saying this." It wasn't Fudge. It was me, Lucci. I'm a fan, and I know you're going through anger management. I just wanted to know how that would affect, taking public office. The sanitation commissioner is a big job. I still maintain that Lucci would probably be a better man for the job because, Big Fudge openly advocates for throwing garbage in the ocean. Don't think that's a great idea. But Big Fudge is a man of the people, and he is better presented and better at getting his point across, even when that point makes no sense, like old man Lucci having his finger on the button. It was a really good debate. At one point, Big Fudge actually accused Tree Hugger Lucci of being on some drugs, which popped me. I don't know why that popped me, but it did. The chat in the Twitch was popping me as well. Seeing people's questions come through was really fun. Frankie B is doing a real good job with her Twitch hosting duties. I really enjoy Frankie B. I think that it's a great role for her, and I want to see more Frankie B. I think that Frankie B. I think hopefully they're getting Frankie B. ready to take over Diego. Now, I think it's really smart that JT Robinson came after Diego, because Diego has big shoes to fill. And so if you give us a couple of shows with JT Robinson and then bring out Frankie, I think the crowd will be more palatable and a little softer on her, because, you know, she's not just immediately following Diego. Now, I don't know that that's what they're thinking, but I'm guessing that's what they're thinking, because they're smart people, and it's a very smart move if that's the case. I could be way off, but, you know, it is what it is. Frankie B is doing an amazing job on these Twitch streams. I'm really enjoying her work. So, you know, more Frankie B, please, PWA. Also, as part of that debate, we did find out that they will have a match tomorrow. So yesterday's preview show speculated that maybe they'll end up in a match, but I was like, oh, maybe not, maybe they're going to keep it for longer. But no, they are having a match tomorrow at Max Watts for the Wahlberg vs. UGG show. Very good stuff. It's good to see them finally getting in the ring with one another. They've been kept apart for a while, and it's going to be good to see them go at it. And they also announced the election date. I've been speculating as to when the election would take place. It's going to take place on May 10th at Max Watts. You got to imagine they're going to have a whole show, not just have booked the venue for an election special. But if they deck it out with like balloons and, you know, vote for, if they do the whole, like, make it look like one of those, you know, Democratic nominee party things, and that'd be amazing. Make PWA green again. You have the green stuff on one side, you have the pink for Fudge or whatever colors he decides on his side. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this. But yeah, they're doing the election on May 10th. I don't know if that'll be the headline or if there's going to be something else going on. I don't know if that's the next show or if there's going to be one in April in between. But it feels like May 10th may be the next PWA show. So that's something to look forward to. Something else to look forward to. Details are scant at this point in time, so I can't talk too much about it. I don't know too much about it. All I know is what's on the Facebook post. SPW over in New Zealand, Southern Pro Wrestling, have signed a TV deal with TVNZ Duke. Now, I'm not in New Zealand. I do not know the significance of this, but what I do know is wrestling on TV is good. Now, TVNZ is the national broadcaster over there. I'm guessing that's like our ABC. I don't know for sure, but I mean, our ABC has ABC and ABC2 and ABC3, and they have TVNZ, TVNZ2, and TVNZ Duke, and a couple of others from what I can gather. So, SPW are going to be on TV, on TVNZ. It feels like it's a free-to-air channel from what I can gather, and, you know, this is, obviously, we've got Battle Championship Wrestling on Melbourne Community TV over here, but this is not community television. This is a national broadcaster, so huge deal. Big news over in New Zealand. Congratulations to everyone involved in Southern Pro Wrestling. This is amazing, and I hope that this helps you grow. And we want the best for our brothers in arms over in New Zealand. Of course, we include them in our Aussie Grapps news, so we include them when we talk about Aussie Grapps. I still debate whether I should call it Anne's Grapps as Australia, New Zealand, but let me know. Let me know in the tweets. Let me know in the comments. Do you think I should call it Anne's Grapps? You decide. Anyway, so it's a bit of a light week this week in regards to news. That's all I really have to talk about. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I've had a rough week. Pretty much every podcast I've put out this week has been behind schedule. I've been struggling. I've been struggling personally with some anxiety issues, with some mental issues, with motivation, just getting up out of bed. And I feel like I need to be honest with you guys, you know, because this is a thing. This is a thing that it affects all of us, or most of us, or a lot of us at least. It's, you know, we all have our mental struggles, and I really do. I try to pull back on that mantra. Like I said when I spoke to Diego that day, you know, something that I learnt in the Australian Pro Wrestling Gym is to fight on, and I do that, and I try to do that, and some days it's easier than others, some days it's harder than others, and this last couple of weeks have been pretty hard, but this last week especially, and so I mean, I'm doing this right now it is 1:49 a.m. at this very moment as I'm speaking. It's 1:49 a.m. And I'm up late because I spent most of the day sort of trying to figure out how I wanted to address this next story, because as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Iron Fist Pro Wrestling. The card that was put together looked phenomenal. The talent that Aiden brings down for Iron Fist is amazing. It's local to me, and he's bringing down, the Velocities, Robbie Eagles. He brought Hideki Suzuki. He had advertised to bring Shoukat from Malaysia Pro Wrestling, who I love. He had advertised to bring Shun Skywalker. We had Street Gang Hooligans. We had, the advertising for the show was amazing. Unfortunately, the advertising was wrong, and so I want to start out with an apology, because anyone who listens to the show knows that I know Aiden, knows that Aiden has been on the show before. He has helped me break down Riot City Wrestling. He has helped me break down various shows that we've watched. He's helped me do the Impact Cast, and Aiden's someone that I watch wrestling with from time to time, and he's a good dude, and I like the guy, and but I felt hurt after the show last week because I was put in a couple of awkward situations, and I want to be completely honest with you guys, like I said, and it's been weighing on me a lot. I mean, there's been other stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting this on Iron Fist. I'm not putting this on Aiden. My mental issues are my own. I take responsibility for those. I work through them. Every day. I've had some family things going on. I've had some money things going on. It's been a rough week in a lot of ways, but I've also been dealing with some anxiety around this situation because I guess I want to start with an apology. Last weekend, when I did this podcast last Friday, on the What's Happening This Weekend, What's Happening Near You part of the show, I read out the match card for Iron Fist Pro based on what was on the Facebook, right? So I just went through it with you there. It's an impressive card. I'm a big fan of this stuff. Street Gang Hooligans, Shun Skywalker, everything looked amazing. And I read out the card as it was announced on Facebook, even though I knew for a fact from private conversations with Aiden that some of those matches were not happening. Instead of being honest about it, it was my inclination to be honest. I wanted to be honest, and instead of doing that, instead of telling you what I knew based on confidential chats, things that were told to me in confidence, I chose to not break that confidence, and as a result, I wound up lying to you guys. I asked the promoter before recording, I said, hey man, I record today. What's happening with the card? I know you told me that, some of the talent aren't going to be at the show. Can you tell me what's happening? Can you give me the card? Because I read out the cards on my show. He didn't respond, and so I just read the card as it was announced on Facebook. My thinking at the time was, I don't know what the card is. I know that some of these matches are not happening based on what he's told me, but I don't know what the actual card is. And I read out the card as it was advertised on Facebook, and my thinking was, that's what's advertised on Facebook. And I feel bad. I feel horrible. False advertising is a bad practice. It is not something that should be happening in Australian professional wrestling. Professional wrestling. It's in the name. Professional. False advertising is not professional. And I'm mad about this. I am. And I'm sorry that I knowingly read false advertising to you. I don't know how I can make that up. I don't know how I can regain that trust other than to say, I made that mistake. I shouldn't have made that mistake. I should have been honest with you guys. Even though it would have broken confidence, I feel like it would have been the right thing to do. And I didn't do it, and I'm sorry. Iron Fist lied in their advertising. As a result, I lied to you, even when I knew what I was reading was wrong. I don't ever want to do that again, and I will not ever do that again. So, if you're going to advertise something, people, this goes for every promotion out there, if you're going to advertise something, make sure you're delivering on what you advertise. So I got to the show, and there was no explanation for why Shun Skywalker was not there. There was no explanation for why Shoukat was not there. There was no explanation for why the Street Gang Hooligans weren't there. There was supposed to be a tag team title match between the Street Gang Hooligans, the Pariah, and the Velocities. And of course, the Velocities and the Pariah went out there and they had an amazing match. The Pariah worked heel. I've wanted to see the Pariah work heel forever. It was so good watching them work heel. They are fantastic heels. They really pulled it off. The crowd hated them, and they ended up picking up the win. It was from top to bottom. The show was really good in ring. The show was really fun. I had a really good time watching the wrestling that I got to watch on that night. But the show itself was clearly a clustermuck organizationally. Aiden had venue issues and ended up having Adelaide Championship Wrestling swoop in at the last minute to save the day. The heroes of Iron Fist Pro Wrestling are Adelaide Championship Wrestling, Joe Mundy, Jack Rossley, all those guys over at Adelaide Championship Wrestling need to be commended on swooping in at the last minute, offering up their venue for Iron Fist Pro Wrestling to make sure that all those guys got to work that night. Because, that's the big thing for me is I want there to be more places for guys to work. I want there to be more places for guys to get paid. And, look, personal things aside, there were some issues that with the promoter, springing roles on me when I was asked to run the social media. You guys know I do social media sometimes for Adelaide Championship Wrestling. I did the Twitter for Iron Fist last time. I talk about this on the show. I'm completely honest with you guys, and I was told, come down, do the social media. You don't have to pay to get in. You can watch the wrestling for free. You can do the social media. And then I ended up getting stuck on the door, and there was a lot of personal issues around my anxiety, and I was put in a position that I was very uncomfortable with. But all of that aside, personal issues aside, it was just not a professionally run show, and this is professional wrestling, and I want Australian wrestling to be the best it can be. And look, Aiden's going through a hard time at the moment because he did mess up, and he promised me he'd come on the show. Then when we talked via Skype, he felt uncomfortable with the questions I was asking him. So I don't have answers, but I can tell you what I saw from my side of things was that it was not run professionally, and it, when you have people coming over to the state for the first time, it's a bad look to have false advertising, to have money issues, to have a lack of live event staff, a lack of preparedness. It doesn't look good. And it's almost a good thing that the internationals weren't here, because it would have made Australian wrestling look bad. If this was their first experience with Australian wrestling, from a behind-the-curtain standpoint, it would have made Australian wrestling look bad. All of the fans who I spoke to in attendance had a good time. They enjoyed the wrestling. A testament to every person who got in that ring with or without pay to put their bodies on the line and to make that show the best it could possibly be, even though the promoter had under-promoted, even though there were only 40 or 50 people in the crowd at most. It was a really good wrestling show, and my hat's off to every single... Our performers are up there with the best performers in the world. Our performers are up there with the best professionals in the world, from my experience, from what I have seen, from the interactions I have had with a lot of our guys. I talk to one a week, and our guys are some of the best in the world, and I stand by that, and I will constantly push for our promotions to rise to the occasion, to rise to the level of the workers that we have in this country, to be the best in the world. Please don't take this as an opportunity to shit on Aiden while he's down. None of us have promoted a show. We don't know what goes into it. Clearly, Aiden has good intentions. He has that mission statement of shining light on unseen talent, and I really believe in that. Obviously, that's why I do what I do here. I really believe in that, and he seems like, to me, the experiences that I have with Aiden, he seems like a good dude who has gotten in over his head, doesn't necessarily have the necessary skills or work ethic to pull it off on his first couple of tries. He says he's going to learn from his mistakes and he's going to grow from it, and I hope that is true. I really do. I will not work with Iron Fist personally in the future. I will not run social media for them. I will definitely not be on the door for them. I will not do these sorts of things. I will still talk about announcements that come out and everything. I will not ask Aiden for any inside information, because I do not want to be put in that position where I lie again. I do not want to be put in those positions again. I'm very frustrated with that. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I just wanted to tell my truth about Iron Fist Pro Wrestling, and I want to make sure everyone knows that, I want Australian wrestling to be the best it can be. This didn't feel like that, and I felt like it made South Australian wrestling look bad. I felt like it made Australian wrestling look bad if the internationals had to come, which they didn't, thankfully, in a way. It was not a great situation, And my hat's off to everyone who acted professionally in this situation. But please, once again, do not use this as an opportunity to shit on someone while he's down. Because Aiden is down, believe me. He's not in a good place right now. And, I hope he's able to get better. I hope he's able to grow from this. But there's a lot of people mad, and he's not in a great place. So let's not use this as an opportunity to shit on him. Let's use this as an opportunity to grow as a community, to band together and be like, let's make this great. Let's push our promotions. Let's push our people to be the best in the world, because we can be and we want to be. Hashtag now we conquer, all of that. We want to be a hotspot for Australian wrestling. We want to be professional, and that's what we want to move towards. And to that end, someone who I met this weekend who was an absolute professional. And again, I just want to apologize as well. I've had an off week. A lot of my podcasts have been late. It's 2 a.m. now as I sit here recording this, so that's all I've got in the way of the news. I will hit you after this interview with what's happening near you, of course, but first let's get to the interview, and this is someone who I met this weekend who was an absolute professional. He put on a fantastic match with Zach Sabbath and Lil Onyx. They had a banger of a triple threat match. Very, very exciting talent is Royce Chambers, and then he had the next night PCW Grand Slam. So I was honored to catch up with him afterwards. I didn't get to catch up with him at the show. You know, show days are hectic. I was dealing with a lot of personal anxieties, and so I didn't really talk to many people. Hats off to JK Moody, was amazing. He recognized me as the B+, and gave me a hug, which really took me back. It was... Wrestling is amazing, and there are a lot of wonderful, wonderful people in professional wrestling, and one of them is Royce Chambers, and it was great to catch up with Royce on Monday on the phone for a chat about his weekend, and I'm going to play that for you now. Sorry for getting heavy, guys. I want to be radically honest with you, so let's have a listen to Royce Chambers after a big weekend in his career, and then I'll let you know what's happening this weekend near you.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Grapps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, Outbreak Nutrition. Outbreak Nutrition are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at Outbreak Nutrition. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out outbreaknutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, outbreaknutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Alright, joining me at this time by the magic of the internet, even though he was in my city this weekend and I'm just the worst, Airbender Royce Chambers. How are you, man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Yeah, good. We met at the Iron Fist show, but like that everything, show days can be so hectic, and we didn't get a chance to sit down and properly talk or anything. But thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, bit of a hectic weekend for you as well. 2 huge shows.
Yeah, it was busy. It was good though. Like, it's what I want to do, so it's always good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want just quickly, I want to talk about Iron Fist first. Was that your first interstate appearance?
Yeah, first interstate, first appearance anywhere outside PCW, so that was cool.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. Is that something that you're looking to do more of at the moment, like through 2019, sort of start getting out there a bit?
I guess so, but my goal at the moment is to get out, like, get more exposure, but also to bring more eyes back to PCW.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've got our own fan base, I guess, and we've got our own style, but I feel like there's we don't really attract the indie wrestling fans, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to try to go out, make a name, and bring them back to PCW, try to grow the brand.
Right. So is that sort of a conscious effort that you're making to do that? Because I'll say that you're the perfect guy to do it, because, I mean, as an indie wrestling fan, I'm very attracted to your moveset and your whole style and all the stuff you do. And so I immediately was like, I need to talk to this guy. And obviously it makes me more interested in the PCW product as well.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal, because I do wrestle more of an indie style compared to the other dudes at PCW. But there's so many good wrestlers at PCW that people just don't know of, really, I guess. Like, there's a whole roster of just incredible talent. And then we've even got the training school that just has people ready to be on the main roster, I guess. And, like,
right.
I would name a bunch of people, but I feel like I'd just forget people. But there's just so many good athletes there, and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, just say everyone on the roster. You don't want to get any heat.
Yeah, yeah, but I do feel like we honestly have the deepest roster in Australian wrestling. So,
yeah, and it's a consistent roster too, right? Like and you guys, it's really unique, PCW, because you're putting on shows every single week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, we'll get on the Saturday nights 50 to 150 weekly, and then the big shows, that's 400, 500. So I don't really know anyone else doing that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty much unheard of. I mean, the other promotion that was running weekly that I knew of was Pro Wrestling South Australia, but they've had to scale back. They're not running weekly anymore, and they weren't doing those kind of numbers, I don't think. I think they used to, but I think that's why they've started to scale back now, is they couldn't keep those numbers up. But PCW, I mean, I think that running weekly lends itself to better storytelling, and having such a consistent roster as well, like, and the depth of roster, as you touched on, it lends itself to more consistent storytelling, which probably helps.
Yeah, the company's definitely more storyline driven and storyline based.
Yeah, so more storyline based. And you yourself at the moment, you're in a tag team, right? R&B?
Yeah, the R&B show, myself and Jamie Baby, just killing it at the moment, trying to tear the house down every week, really, and just kill it the best we can.
And how did that come about?
Man, we were both just called up to the main roster, I guess, after being on the rookie shows, and we didn't really have much going, so we just thought to each other, hey, we're both high flyers, both do some cool shit, and why don't we do it together? And that was about 6 months ago now, so it's been a slow build, but we're really starting to get on track. Like, we've got obviously a name now and everything going, and yeah, we're building some good chemistry, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard good things from people that are attending the shows on a consistent basis. So it's definitely, like, you're one of the names that I hear pop up a lot, and specifically within the context of the team. So it's a good thing.
You.
Now, I mean, are you guys looking toward the Brotherhood in the near future? I mean, I saw some GIFs pop up today that don't know why anyone would want to get in there with those guys. But is that something you guys are looking toward?
Yeah, of course. Well, they just won the tag team championships, and we beat Tommy Hellfire and Rocco on the weekend. So, I mean, I guess we're number one contenders, you could say. Yeah,
it wasn't an official number one contendership match, but you got to be in the running.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, we'd kill it with those guys, and I'd love to wrestle Sid and Wake. I've never actually wrestled Wake, so that'd be cool.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Sid's another one that gets my attention going towards PCW, because he's obviously gone out and he has made a bit of a name for himself, and now he's there. Yeah. He and Erica showed up in PCW about a month ago.
No, they've been there. Well, I know Sid's been here for about a year now. Erica's been around for like 6 months, but they're both beasts. Like, they kill it every week.
Yeah, Yeah, so it's really awesome. So people need to be checking out PCW more. I feel like it doesn't get, like you said, it doesn't get enough love. Like it doesn't get even the academy, right? Like it's pumped out talent. Like the Phillips started training there, didn't they?
Yeah, Philippe's and Indy Hartwell as well. But I think like because we've got our own kind of fan base and it's more a WWE style fan base, and like the marks per se, I'm a mark, don't get me wrong, we all are.
Yeah, we all are. Yeah.
The people on Twitter and Facebook, they don't really talk about PCW as much because we're not really that indie style show.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, like the PWA and MCW are like the super indies kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have that type of following, but that's really what I want to try to bring to PCW, I guess, and then try to mix the indie style with our storytelling and the storylines. I just think it'd be sick.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, looking at the academy itself, who's running the show there? Who's doing the training? Because I don't even know. That's the thing. Like, it gets so little love that I'm not even fully aware of it.
So probably the head trainer is Tricky. If you've heard of him, he's been around for a while, and he's a freak. And then there's other great trainers. There's Cass Stone, Mark Cage, and then we have promo classes as well, which are run by Dr. Troy and Rocco. So we've got a whole coaching team that are really good.
Yeah, sick. And how did you get into it? I guess like I normally start with like the cliche interview, but because you were here, I was like, oh, Iron Fist. But yeah, how did you get into the wrestling? We should probably rewind to the start. How did you get into it?
Well, I've been into it since I was young, like most wrestlers, and got out of it when I was like 14, just in high school. None of my friends were really into it, so you kind of just grow out of it, and just to be honest, I got into the drugs and alcohol a bit at school, and just like weed and stuff every day. And one day I was 17 and just no one was home. Went out, had a joint, and then came back inside and scrolled through my phone, and a WrestleMania thing popped up, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't watched wrestling for ages.
Yeah.
So I went inside, watched, it was Batista versus Rey Mysterio. It wasn't even a WrestleMania. It was just some random SmackDown match.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, man, I should do this. I forgot how much I loved it. And I went out to the trampoline, brought the pillow with me, and put on a half an hour classic on the trampoline. And the next day I woke up and I was like, that was sick. I just got to do this. And I just got really back into it since then and started training and stopped all stupid shit and just knuckled down and trying to live the dream, I guess.
Right. And that's something that I hear that from various people, like getting into, you know, the not strict, but like the sort of the routine of going to training and doing this. It can sometimes replace, like for someone who, like if you have an addictive personality, it can kind of replace other vices with something like wrestling, which I mean, wrestling's not exactly great for your body either necessarily, but it's probably better than some of the other stuff that you could be doing.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I just love it so much and kind of feel like it's what I was meant to do. So I'm just trying to put everything towards it and just drop everything for it. And yeah, that's it, man.
I'm glad that it helped you sort of kick some of those habits that maybe weren't the greatest for you, and that you're moving forward from that. Like that's really good to hear, man.
Yeah, like I have no problem with people taking drugs or alcohol or anything. Like if I wasn't wrestling, I know I'd still do it all the time, to be honest. But I'm too much of a lazy fuck if I do it. So just
it affects different people differently, because like I've got a lot of friends that are really productive stoners too.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, but I just can't. I'm just in bed eating Doritos and salsa if I'm not.
It's our Australian weed, man. Australian weed's skank weed. It's not good. That's what it is. But you mentioned the trampoline, right? So this is a good segue. I wanted to get to this. You work with trampolines, right? Is that something you've done your whole life, or is it something that came from the wrestling? What happened there?
Oh, I don't know really. Like I've been wrestling teddies and pillows on my tramp since I was little, like pretty much everyone does.
Yeah.
And so I dropped out of school in year 11 just because I didn't like it. And I started wrestling, and then 2 months after I was like, man, I just want to train every day and go to the gym. And that's pretty much what I did for a year. And then I got the job at Bounce, the trampoline park, and yeah, that's what I do. I just work there, jump around all day, say hey to kids and all that. And it's pretty good, pretty sweet. It definitely helps me with everything that I do in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty freaking awesome. Because, like, we have one here, the one near me is called Flip Out. But, like, it's the same concept. And, with, like, the foam pits and all that stuff and a million trampolines and everything. And I take the kids down there and, like, you pay for, like, an hour. And just that hour is a really intense cardio workout trying to keep up with...
Oh, I know.
Yeah, trying to keep up with kids on the trampolines is a really intense cardio workout. So that's got to... I mean, you probably don't even need to go to the gym as much anymore, right? Like, you don't need to do cardio.
Yeah, well, when I started gym, I've never done cardio. I just hate it. But that's pretty much where I get my cardio from. I remember when they did the job interview, they said that 10 minutes of jumping is 40 minutes of running.
Yeah.
So definitely works out well for me.
Yeah, that's insane. Get that conditioning up. But it also helps you with, because you have a very aerial style. Like, watching you at Iron Fist, you did things that I did not think were capable. And I'm someone who already watches wrestling, so I've already seen a lot of shit.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That's just the style I love, really. Like, I can't really sit through like a slow match. I just very like, I just prefer fast pace and go, which is probably a bad thing and a good thing. But yeah, it's just the style that I like, really. When I got back into wrestling, I just started looking towards more to the indies, which I didn't really when I was younger, and I found like Osprey, Ricochet, and Hack, like they're all massive influences. Just not even trying to replicate what they've done, but just try to be more creative and think of different stuff. Because like all the high flying moves, man, they've been done, but it's just trying to think of other ways to get into stuff and just be more creative, I guess.
Sort of take it to the next level. Like, that's the thing with the style that you do, and the style that, like, yeah, guys like Ricochet and even you could even count the Bucks in that, I guess, because they've done some crazy shit in their time. Like, all of those guys, the things that like, it's the pushing it forward. So now the next lot, like, so people like yourself who want to push it forward more, you have to come up with even more crazy shit, like Paris De Silva's shooting star DDT, right? Like, holy crap.
Yeah, exactly. It's just. But man, it's hard to think of stuff, I tell you that much. And definitely the bumps, you can tell, like, from the start of high flying to now, the bumps are more and more crazy each generation it goes.
Yeah. Well, I like your strategy of just putting more spins in it, because you did that kick thing, and I've never seen anyone spin that many times in my life. Like, how do you not get dizzy delivering that move?
Oh, man, I do. But I just try not to show
it. You just shake it off. The triple threat at Iron Fist, though, like, that was you talked about, like, liking to have the fast paced style and everything of match, and that's the kind of match you like to watch. The triple threat is going to be, I think, it's the perfect spot for you, because you come in, you do the awesome stuff, you take your big bump, you lay out for a minute, and it works with the style that you offer up.
Yeah, I mean, I like any type of wrestling. It's funny because when I came back to wrestling, I just didn't like tag team wrestling at all.
Right.
I just preferred the singles style and the story you can tell and just the things you can do with it. But then when I started doing tag team in the ring, I'm like, oh man, this is way more sick, because you can, like, creatively you can do so much more. But yeah, the triple threat was sick. Like, I love trying to wrestle new people and learn. Like, Zach Sabbath's a freaking beast.
Yes, he is.
RCW champ, and I already, like, just that one match, I learned heaps from him. And Lil Onyx as well, he's sick, he's good as, like, just sweet getting in the ring with both of them, and yeah, just trying to put on a great match. And like you said, it was fast paced, and that's how I like it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you about, specifically Zach Sabbath, because he's a name similar to PCW, actually. Riot City Wrestling, I think, don't get enough love, especially considering all their shows go on YouTube. Like, they just don't get enough love, because it is more that WWE style, right? And I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. But yeah, Zach Sabbath's been doing it for like 12 years, and people don't talk about him.
Yeah, he was a freak. Like, RCW have heaps of great guys as well. I don't even know them all, but I know Pereira came down. They were tag team champs at PCW last year, and they're sweet dudes. They're good as well. Like,
yeah, did they work heel in PCW?
No, they were faces actually.
Okay.
They were faces. They worked heel once when we were in Geelong, which is more of a bogan crowd, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, because they worked heel at Iron Fist, and I was like,
shade.
no, it's fine. The wrestling is for everyone. But they worked heel at Iron Fist, and I was like, holy crap, I need to see them work heel more. They're insane.
Yeah, they're good as.
Yeah. So Iron Fist was the start of your weekend, though. Then you had, I mean, the elephant in the room. Everyone who's listening is like, why haven't you asked him about Grand Slam yet? Grand Slam, 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That was unreal, man. We already had 1,600 pre-sold, and I had a feeling we'd get to 2,000. So to actually reach that, I know that was just a huge achievement for everyone. And, it was so professionally ran, and we had like the whole stage set up, and it was just, man, it was incredible just going out, seeing that many people. The stadium was just packed, man. It was unreal. Yeah. I was very, very lucky to be a part of it, because you know, people that were on the show have been wrestling for 10 plus years, 5 plus years. So to actually get a spot on the show was very, very lucky, very thankful for that.
Yeah, it's to me, like, the fact that, I mean, Australian wrestling's so diverse. I mean, you went from wrestling in front of like 40 people, 50 people at Iron Fist one night to 2,000 people in Melbourne the next night. And I mean, 2,000 people, let's put that out there. It's not even normal, really. Like, that's a huge, that's got to be one of the biggest, especially in the modern era, biggest attendances in all of Australian wrestling.
Yeah, but the good thing, like, in Adelaide, I learnt heaps, and then I was in front of 40 people, and then in 2,000 people, I learnt just as much and had just as much fun, really. Like, but I mean, 40 people doesn't compare to 2,000 walking out in front of that. But yeah, we versed Tommy Hellfire and Rocco and smashed it, and man, it was just a great time, great achievement for everyone, and the people that worked so hard setting all that up and putting all the promoting into it, handing out the flyers, and everyone just really that works for the company, just wants to see it grow, and I think everyone has just that drive to make it the best product in Australia, which is what I love, man.
Yeah, definitely. Look, just from watching clips and stuff too, it sounded like all 2,000 of those people were hot. Like, they were invested. They were making some noise.
Yeah. I was a bit like, I was wondering, oh man, because a lot of these people haven't seen wrestling before, so, you know, they're going to be sitting on their hands the whole time, not really knowing what to do. But it was Danny Psycho versus Edward Dusk in the first match, and they just got it going. And then we had a very, very good spot. Like, we just got to go in there and do what we do, and they were already on their feet. So that was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing. Do you know if the show's getting released online at all, or?
I hope so. I think it will, because I know most of our big events get released online, and we've actually got a streaming service coming soon, which will have our weekly shows and previous main event shows all up there. So that'll be awesome when that's all done and going, and hopefully that brings a few more eyes to the product, because I think that's big part we might be missing at the moment is the video on demand service, which a lot of companies seem to have and really do well with. So it's good when that gets up and going. Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, so I wanted to touch on that because I've heard that that's coming down the pipe, and you guys have been testing on the Facebook and stuff actual live streams, not just video on demand, but an actual live stream of the show as it happens, which, like, that's where the money is, man, because wrestling is one of those things where anything can happen, so you want to capitalize on that. And so it's crazy. I'm looking forward to it. Does that change things, knowing, I mean, going out there for you know, your weekly show, does it change things going out there knowing there's a camera that I have to play to, there's people that could be watching online, like anyone could be looking at this?
Yeah, I guess. The thing is, we've always, because we've got the whole venue set up there, so we always try to work towards the camera anyway, but the pressure would definitely be a lot higher knowing that this is live, and if I fuck up in front of people that are watching at home, not just people there. So, I mean, I guess it's a whole nother level of pressure, but that's what you got to do, and I think that'll open a lot more doors, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask you about the name, man. Airbender. Are you an anime guy?
To be honest, not really. Like, I was, at school I was more into sports and all that type of stuff and basketball. I was never really anime type dude, but I did watch the Airbender, the old Nickelodeon. That's where I got the name from, obviously. I took a while to really find a name and like a character, but my character now is just me being a dickhead, me being myself, and then the Airbender just represents what I do in the ring.
Yeah, well, it's a good name.
I think, yeah, it's cool.
You could have done something around the mullet, maybe though, as well.
No, that's just part of the gimmick. But I'm getting there. It's gonna be good. I'm trying to go Brian Pillman with it, so
yes,
definitely stand out.
Yes, amazing. I love it. Get that swagger happening. But so 2019, where are you looking? Like, what are the goals? You said you want to get out there, get the name out there, and bring those eyes back to PCW. Are there certain promotions that you have your eyes on that you're like, I want to work there, or is it a matter of I'll work anywhere?
That's hard because in Melbourne, I want to stay exclusive to PCW pretty much. Like, I'd love to wrestle for an MCW or something down the line, but I really want to try to go interstate a lot more as well and try to bring the brand out because not many PCW dudes go interstate as much, and because we have the weekly shows, it's kind of hard to as well. That's why I went, like, Iron Fist was good because it was on a Friday night, so I didn't really have anything on, but the goal is just to really just try to expand the brand and bring more eyes back to PCW and just grow as a wrestler, grow as a performer, all that. Yeah. All that cliche stuff.
Yeah. Well, obviously, the more people you work, like you said, if you were only working, if you weren't open to going to another state on a Friday night to do a show, you never would have had that opportunity to work Zach Sabbath, who is a guy who has, a plethora of experience that people in Melbourne don't have, So it's definitely a good thing to be doing. Where if someone's listening and they're like, I'm putting on a show on a Friday or a Sunday night, where can they find you? Where can they get in touch? And for the fans as well, where can they follow the Airbender Royce Chambers?
Well, Twitter, Airbender Royce. Facebook, you can just type up Royce Chambers. I don't know the actual name of it, but yeah, if you type up Royce Chambers, you can find me. And then Instagram, which is probably what I use the most, that's just Royce Chambers Pro. I think that's it.
Yeah. And if people want to watch you wrestle, they can come down every Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night, PCW Ignitions, and then Friday night there's the rookie shows, PCW Slam, which has best young talent, and they always do their best to kill it as well, and I'm on there sometimes as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and hopefully we have the online service soon.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, so there you have it, the Airbender Royce Chambers, hot off the biggest weekend of his career. I don't know if he said that. I recorded this a while ago and I've got to edit it now. So it's, I'm going to assume it was the biggest weekend of his career. I don't know for sure, but biggest weekend of his career, hot off the heels of it. He sat down and had a chat with me. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Royce. If you liked that interview and you like Aussie Grappler interviews in general, there are other places you can listen to Aussie Grappler interviews where you don't necessarily have to listen to me ramble about my personal situations. Fun Time Phil showed up this weekend, hot off the heels of kissing Loverboy Lockie Hendricks' ass on Talkin' Stick. He sat down with JXT and they talked about they actually talked about some things that would really help aspiring promoters, right? Because we don't know what it's like to run a show, but Funtime Phil and JXT, well, they have started Mayhem Pro Wrestling, and they've had some good early successes. And, they talked about the difficulties of, booking the show's not the hard part. The talent, the promotion, that's not the hard part. It's all the stuff you don't expect. It's the canteen, it's the security, it's the venue. All of these things that you don't realize are going to go into it. That's the hard stuff that you need the help with. And, it's worth listening to. If you are someone who's like, oh, maybe one day I want to promote a show, don't just dive in. Listen to things. Listen to people, learn from people, talk to people. That's the way to go. Robbie Eagles, who was a part of the Iron Fist Pro Wrestling show, he put on an amazing match with Eman and JK Moody. He showed up on Wide World of Wrestling. They caught up with him backstage at MCW Clash of Titans. So Robbie Eagles, absolute professional, amazing top guy in our country, and they talked to him about, his tour over in New Japan and everything. So definitely get around and listen to that. And Jack Bonza, one of the men going over to represent PWA in America for WrestleMania weekend, for King of Trios. He's one of the head honchos over there in PWA, and of course the leader of the Red Nation, Jack J. Bonza, showed up on the Turnbuckle this week. I will put links for all of these podcasts in the show notes. Make sure you get around them and check it out, because that's what it's all about here, is supporting Aussie wrestling, supporting Aussie wrestlers. And you can do that this weekend near you in Victoria. This Saturday, PCW Ignition After Grand Slam takes place at the usual PCW home in the Southeastern Entertainment Centre. If you are in the area, head down to witness all the fallout from the biggest PCW event ever. If you didn't get to the amazing event last weekend, show up early, because at Ignition they will be showing footage from the Grand Slam show on the big screen exclusively. The winner of the Grand Slam Rumble, Charlie Matthews, will face Jake Taylor, and the final candidate for PCW president will be revealed. All this and more. Tickets are just $20 for this show. Definitely get down and check it out. In Perth, Saturday night, New Horizons Pro Wrestling present Fallout. After the battle cometh the fallout. Rogan Cargway and London Hargreaves will face off in a hair versus career match. The Don Michael Morleone and Julian Ward go to war over the Art of Fighting Championship, and much more. Tickets start at $10. Over in New Zealand on Saturday night, IPW March to War takes place at the Mount Eden War Memorial Hall. Will Stone takes on the Foundation Paul Sayers. James Shaw will take on Jake Sheehan in 2 out of 3 falls action. And the Jukebox Hero returns, and much more. Tickets start at $8. And in New South Wales, it's a big one this weekend. PWA, Wahlberg vs. UGG. Unsocial Jordan and Ricky South will clash once more. This time, if Unsocial Jordan wins, Ricky South must stand with SMS. I did the thing with the hand and the mouth. Tree Hugger Lucci and Big Fudge, they will meet one-on-one for the first time. Shazza McKenzie and Robbie Eagles team up to take on the Four Nations combination of Jessica Troy and Jack J. Bonza. And of course, the big one, the one everyone's been waiting for, Maddie Wahlberg challenges Caveman UGG for the PWA Championship. There's a lot more though, guys. Go back in the archives and listen to our Get Hyped PWA preview to hear about the entire card, every match that's happening here. Mikey and I give our thoughts on the stories going into and coming out of this show. The tickets that remain are $30. And then that's not all. We did another Get Hyped podcast on Saturday and Sunday. Hunter Valley Wrestling holding a big doubleheader at Club Maitland City featuring James Storm, the cowboy of Impact Wrestling fame. Tickets start at $13 for this one. It is a steal. Matches like Damian Slater vs. Slade Mercer vs. Cowboy James Storm on night 1. Alex Titan vs. Gavin McGavin on night 1. Alex Titan vs. James Storm on night 2. Gavin McGavin vs. Slade Mercer. All your HVW favorites there. Tali is returning, looking to capture the women's championship she once held in a 4-way match with her fellow Black and Brave graduate Aria Rain. Jasmine from the Lance Storm Academy, of course, Jasmine Vittora recently returned, and the HVW Women's Champion Izzy Shaw. Can she hold on to that title? Will some of these now internationally traveled women take the upper hand and get that title off her? Only time will tell. Caesar the Pirate is going to be there. You know there's going to be fun time with rum and, I don't know, cannonballs. He's a pirate. It's amazing. All the HVW favorites are going to be there. There's so much more going on. Once again, we did a Get Hyped episode yesterday. You can go back and listen in the archives. It features a very rare and exclusive interview with the cowboy James Storm. We asked him about his time in Impact. We asked him about his time in NXT, about the beer drinking championship. It was awesome. It was awesome. Go back and listen to that one, guys. I will put a link in the show notes, of course. And that's it. That does it for the weekend in wrestling. If I missed anything, I do apologize again. I've had a really rough week. And I know a couple of you have listened to the podcasts and heard that I've been running late and having things, and you've shot me messages, and I really appreciate that. It means the world to me to know that there are people out there that care. And of course, like I've said before, wrestling is magic, and we want to grow this community. Please join the Australian wrestling community on Facebook, where we can get to know one another. We can make friends. We can find people to go to shows with. We don't have to be alone in this thing. Wrestling is beautiful. Wrestling is magic, and that's what it's all about, is supporting local wrestlers, supporting local wrestling. So get around it. You can find me at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter, because wrestling wouldn't fit the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And big special thank you to our Patreon supporters, Chapo, Jules, Ibs, Luke. If you want to join the elite of the Patreon subscribers and tell us what to talk about and come on our call-in shows and all those fun things, hit us up at patreon.com/theb+. But, as always, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening.
Hold one! Arm drag!
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list!
So, no speak English.
Dummy!
Goodbye and good night.
Hold two! Arm bar!
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it! Dummy!